Good morning. Good morning and welcome to FOOF. I am the substitute teacher, so you're all unruly today. I know that. My name is Catherine Heavens, for those of you who don't know. And again, I'm your service leader. We begin this morning by recognizing the first people of this area, the Siuslaw Indians. FOOF is grateful for their careful stewardship of this land and water, and we honor the tribe by giving thanks to their families, past, present, and future generations. Please rise. We're going to start. Please rise if you are able, and let Tuvia Chai guide us with our opening hymn, number 123 in the book. If you know the melody, the words are in your program. Please start.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Thank you, everyone. So just a reminder about cell phones, please turn them off. We say that every week, and of course there's a little bell or melody somewhere along the way, so just make sure. And do we have anyone here for the first time?
We do, we have Christy.
Okay. And are you willing to stand up and
Sure.
introduce yourself? Tell us how you got here?
Sure. Maybe by car, maybe by car. I just kept driving by the church and I thought,
Oh,
someday.
see?
We moved here in October, my partner and I, and we love it. And I just kept driving by the church and thinking, when the pandemic is over, when we don't have our masks with, and I thought, well, whatever. That's what it is, and I'm just going to show up. So.
Well, thank you very much. For you, a little book of haikus. It was written by someone that used to be in our congregation. And please enjoy.
That's very nice, thanks.
Are there any more announcements? Wait, there are a couple. Okay. Anyone first?
How many people in here have ever heard the term chalice lighters? I've known for a second. Chalice lighters. Oh, chalice lighters. Okay, for those of you who may not know the term, in the UUA, the Unitarian Universalist Association, there is a group of what we call generous people who volunteer to be a chalice lighter. And what that means is that we give $20 3 times a month to a pot.
3 times a year.
$20 3 times a year, I'm sorry, you're correct, thank you. To a communal pot, and then congregations can make application to it to fund very specific things like the TV that sits behind this beautiful painting. We got through chalice lighters several years ago. Well, we would like to encourage people. Right now, there's only 6 people in our congregation who are chalice lighters, and we need about 13 to 14 to get to the point where we can then apply for a grant. So if anybody is interested, I'm going to encourage you to go to the UUA website, uua.org, type in chalice lighters, and you will come up with a whole section that will describe it and application form. The application form is very simple. It took me 3 minutes to fill out. So I would encourage anybody who has, a few bucks to spare 3 times a year to do it. It will eventually benefit us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Ray?
So this is more of an alert than an announcement. I know we're probably all concerned about the refugees fleeing the Ukraine and going into Poland and Romania and everywhere. And I've donated some, but I'm never sure how much of my dollar actually gets to them. I have a friend who recently, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, moved to Poland. And she is a former UU president from Klamath Falls.
Oh, wow.
Anya Kaka, maybe some of you remember her. Anyway, she lives about 200 kilometers from the Polish border. And they're getting in a town smaller than Reedsport, 1,558 people called, pardon my Polish, Zakliczyn. Z-A-K-L-I-C-Z-Y-N. 1,558 people. They're getting refugees in their town. And so she's trying to organize her friends back in America to be able to contribute directly to refugees on the spot. And she's going to have more information for me hopefully this week. And I will keep you updated. Maybe we can find a way. I don't know if it's going to be clothes, diapers, or money, or I don't know what, but we'll see what comes, and maybe we can roll with it and get something done. And I'm happy to head it up.
Excellent.
Thank you, Ray.
Ray.
Thank you for sure. Hi, Deborah.
Just a brief announcement, the Board of Directors is working on updating our COVID protocol now that the state mask mandate has been dropped. For right now, we're going to continue to require masking here in the sanctuary. Whatever kind of mask you have is fine. But we're planning on, when we move over to the senior center, when the construction begins here, we'll have more space to spread out, and at that time, masking will become optional.
Thank you. So just hold on a little longer with the masks, you know. Thank you very much. Okay, Mark? So speak up.
Nice to see everybody made it here in the middle of the night. I have a couple of things. For those of you who missed the January 23rd panel discussion on climate change, that's the second announcement.
Okay.
I went to KXCR and put together a program for the radio, and it's going to be airing tomorrow, Monday, at 4 p.m. from 4 to 5. So you want to tune in, you get to hear it. And then, of course, on April 3rd, we have the climate change convocation, interfaith convocation. The flyers are done. I put just one on the table there that Jay's holding up. I think it came out real good, and we have a few people from our group that are going to be speaking. There are about 10 people that will be speaking about climate change and referencing scriptural or spiritual basis for taking care of the earth. And that's Sunday, April 3rd, from 2 to 5. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Very important work, very important work. Glad we're part of it. Why don't we take a moment to say good morning to the person to your right and your left, or in front of you, or behind you. A warm, foof welcome.
Good morning.
We'll get back to the hugging soon enough, but let's start with the hug. Some people are hugging anyway. All righty.
Good morning.
Oh boy, people are ready for this, I can tell.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Okay. Sally, when you're watching this, I didn't say hugging, but they're doing it anyway. They're overdue. And if you notice someone missing today, if you notice someone missing today, someone you haven't seen for a while, reach out to them. You know, Church is a habit, and during the COVID time, people fell out of the habit. But it is the community we come here for, as well as anything else. Really important. Special thanks to Pam Gettler, who stepped in and was our greeter today. I really appreciate that. Yay. She wasn't signed up, but she came anyway. Okay, following today's service, Ruth Miller will be in the library to listen to your thoughts on her message, and then ease into her course on natural abundance at 11:30, where she will look at America's great philosopher, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and what he had to tell us about 200 years ago. But he was one of those great thinkers. He had the big picture, and then he applied it to daily life. Something is really, I think, important. Perhaps you can help us make sense of our lives today.
Maybe he can.
Yeah. All right, let's see. And remember about masking unless you're behind the podium here, just for a little while longer. So we'll have the chalice lighting, and Brooke will light the chalice. You have a choice of clickers. We light this flame as an act of faith in challenging times like these, offering a safe place for all those who gather here. These words come from Reverend Dr. Rebecca Savage, titled, "Welcome, Sweet Soul." Welcome, sweet soul, to this place of renewal and hope. Here we welcome your tender places and yearnings to be fully present. Welcome, sweet soul, to this place of meaning and belonging. Here we welcome your questions and wonderings on the journey toward wholeness. Welcome, sweet soul, to this place of compassion and heart. Here we welcome you, all of you, and we invite you in as you are, and welcome you as we are. To renew your relationship with the sacred, the interdependent web of all existence. I love that image, the interdependent web of all existence. Welcome, sweet soul. Come, let us worship together. All right. Thank you, Brooke. So we'll move into joys and concerns. I usually do that, so I'm just going to cruise right into that. Does anyone have anything they wish to share, needing help or support, or they just are bursting with joy? Either one. We need all the joy we can get too. And there will be the microphone.
Turn it on, Tuvia, would you?
And then you can drop a shell in the cleansing water, a little mini ceremony we do, a little mini ritual, let's say, that we do. Okay. Hi, Rayma.
Hi, I'm Raina. In case you didn't notice me, I got my hair cut, along with a couple other things. I just want to tell everyone how grateful I am for all of the support that I received while I was healing. And I am doing really well now. I am almost 100%, almost 100%. And I want to thank Little Dawn and Judy and Catherine a whole bunch, and Sally, who's not here. They all came to my home and helped me prepare meals when I was not up to it. So I want to thank them dearly. I now have a caregiver from the VA, thanks to Little Don. He got that going for me. I am a disabled veteran, so I'm entitled to that benefit, and I have a caregiver Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on dialysis days to help me cook meals and clean the house and stuff like that. So, yeah, doing good.
Welcome back. So happy. And you know how these things, everyone, like Dawn stepping in for that when Rayma thought she was going to have to wait for weeks. There's always things we can do, really.
Yep.
Okay. Hi, Brooke.
I forgot a shell.
Okay, Brooke's going to drop one in there for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so
talk today about peace. My prayer is for peace. And one of the things that came to me in the last several days, I was thinking about when there's war and strife on the outside, what's going on inside of me? And is anybody familiar with the Ho'oponopono prayer? There's
Yes.
4 lines to it. So I decided that I would look at my body and see if there was a war going on inside of me, in my mind and in my body. And I thought, you know, anytime I have pain, anytime I think, oh, that darn hip, or that, you know, something about my body that I don't like, I thought, I'm at war with my body. And so what I started doing was using the Ho'oponopono prayer. And I worked with my feet that have some difficulties. And I said, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And I started doing that with every part of my body and my mind whenever any discomfort came. And I feel like I'm doing something to make the world a better place, because I'm trying to be at peace with my body and my mind, and that will add peace to the world. And I feel very excited about this, and I'm going to ask you if you would mind just for a moment, if you feel like it, putting your hand on your heart, take a little breath, and just say to yourself, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
I love you.
I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if anybody wants to, if you would be willing to try this over the next week and report back, I can tell you that I feel full of joy. I feel positive, like there's hope, and there's something that I can personally do to make the planet a better place and a safer place. And it all starts right here.
That's right.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you. It's a good reminder.
Go, girl.
Hi, Ray.
Okay, that's for Evelyn Naylor Carson.
Oh, yes.
Just, I don't know if you know, but she broke her leg. It's not, she's already walking around in a boot. And she has her husband to do all kinds of stuff for her, and their house is stacked with wine. I'm sure she'd love to hear from you. So.
Medicinal one.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you.
Just like the stuff we drink here.
Just like the stuff we drink here. All right, I got 3 of them here, so we're going to go real quick here, not make it too long. 1, 2, 3. And the first one, Lanny and Kamala. We missed them terribly, but
Oh, yes.
I went by their house and picked up the stand for Tuvia, and a music stand. I didn't know he was going to bring such a nice one. So that's one. Hopefully they start coming again soon once we get this masking thing taken care of. The other one is Marcia Phillips. I found one of those little sit-in electric chairs.
Nice.
Okay, so for her, a longer story than needs to be told here, but got it to her, so when she gets to that point, she'll have a way to get around. I drove it from Coast Village to her house.
Of course you did.
When I cut it through Brooke, I saw her out there too. And the third one is to thank Chris, Maggie's partner, for his help with showing the technical committee some of the live streaming stuff he does and giving us options to get us kick-started.
Thank you, Jake, and thank you, Chris. That's great. We needed a little more input, I think.
So Chris is in that chair.
Yes, he's in that chair, right. And you're going to tell him. Okay, anyone else? All right, one more show. For all those we don't know about, those sitting at home, reluctant to come yet because of the COVID or whatever their fear is, or too sad, or too feeling alone. And also for someone who's bursting with joy and thinking of us sitting here right now. That's for them. We have a reading, and Rayma is going to do the reading for us.
today's reading is titled, So Must We, by Reverend A. Powell Davies. So as far as I can see, all the great leaders and the great exemplars of religion possessed faith. Faith in life's essence, in its hidden meaning, in its moral claim, in the righteousness of its inner spiritual guidance. And by this, the great ones lived their lives. So must we. There are no problems greater than our power to solve them. There are no burdens greater than our strength. Ew, that's the right page. There we go, got it. We shape, by every moment of our lives, the great decisions. Then let us venture still, with reason as a lamp to guide us, but lighted with the light of faith. So it is.
So now I'd like to introduce our speaker, Reverend Ruth Miller. She is, most of you know her, she is a scholar in so many areas, corporal and spiritual, and we welcome her.
Thank you.
And I remember.
I'm impressed.
Ruth, do you need us to take that down?
No.
Oh.
All right, on in your, there is a flyer about the song I Believe.
Yes.
Our theme this month is renewing faith. So if you would like to rise as you are able, I'm going to play on YouTube a version of I Believe. Some of you remember it. The story that Sally put on the flyer is kind of nice, isn't it? You get that whole sense of what it's about. Let's try this again. We got volume. I'll be there in a minute, I promise. I don't know why you are not hearing it. This is the first time I haven't tested the sound before.
You could probably sing it just because you know it.
Well, that's what Sally thought.
Yeah.
Do you want to try it a cappella?
You prefer no.
All right, we'll try it a cappella. I believe for every drop of rain that falls, a flower grows. I believe that somewhere in the darkest night, a candle glows. I believe for everyone who goes astray, someone will come to show the way. I believe, I believe. I believe above the storm, the smallest prayer will still be heard. I believe that someone in the great somewhere hears every word. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why I believe.
haven't practiced much singing for a while.
That's good.
All right, so the title today is Renewing What? You know, Unitarians are very proud to say we do not have a creed. We affirm and promote several principles. Instead, we covenant. Creed is the English version of the Latin credo, or credo, depending on who's talking. I believe. Credo, I believe. And so the words of that song are a statement of belief. And most people think that what we say at that level of credo, I believe, is our faith. And I'm here to tell you you're wrong. Sorry about that. How many times have people cried out to the universe, to the divine, to something bigger than them for help or for something, and it wasn't there. And then their belief is smashed, and they say, I don't have faith anymore, or they say I'm an atheist, or they say I'm an agnostic, because none of that seems to work. And that's because they don't have faith, and never did, in that. They had faith in other things. I have faith that when I turn on a switch, a light switch, or a car switch, or a microphone switch, it's going to come on. Now that faith came out of a combination of what I was told and what I was experiencing. And it's always a big surprise when it doesn't work. But then I have faith that I can solve the problem because I know sort of kind of how it works. Not so much with cars anymore. There was a time I could do something. Not so much these days. But you get the point, right? So we have faith in many things in our lives. We have faith we'll turn on the tap, there will be water. And then we're given some information that suggests maybe not. And so then our faith is shaken that there will be water when we turn on that tap. And yet, again, we understand sort of how it works, and we can at least trace back and see if there is a supply coming into that tap. We have faith in the system that provides that supply. We have faith that the internet will be there when we go to check our emails, or whatever. Our faith is what we know deep down and live our lives from. Whatever we know deep down and live our lives from. I first heard that when I was studying Emma Curtis Hopkins and her lesson 4 on faith. That's one of her fundamental positions and teachings. If you want to know what you have faith in, look at your world. Because your world is showing you what you have faith in. Remember Wayne Dyer had a book, You'll See It When You Believe It? Yeah. It's not that we will believe it when we see it. We can't see it unless we believe it. My mother was an artist and an art teacher, and she used to say, I can make yellow look red just by how I set it up. And I didn't believe her until one day. I was looking at something and it looked very yellow, and it was in fact red. And I've done a thing in workshops with you guys where there's a guy who has a hat on a black, and it's a colored hat on a white background, and the colors are shaded so that it looks like 3 dimensions. And what you think is purple is actually black or blue. Right? Because the colors are shaded to make it look like it's purple in the shadow. Yeah. We see what we believe. We all have a perceptual framework. The common popular term is paradigm today. It's what we bring to a situation with our mental framework. And that framework literally determines what we will see. There are many people who walk in a room and they don't see someone or something because they weren't expecting it to be there. It wasn't in their perceptual framework. And then something happens. Well, that's what happened today. Because Rayma came up and gave me a hug, and I'm going, I think that could that? And then she says, I came to church for the first time, and I went, I guess I was wrong. But it was, I was not ready to have Rhema here, and it was, and it is, and we are so glad and pleased. So, when we have a perceptual framework, it includes what we know deep down to be true. It also includes what someone has just told us, maybe, at least a little bit, we have a glimmer. What do I have faith in? Back in the 70s, there was a workshop leader who was very famous for his really tough rules on his workshops. It was EST with Werner Erhard. And that wasn't his real name. His real name was something like Joe Blaze or something.
Rosenberg.
Was it? I don't think so. I thought it was Italian.
No,
Okay. It was Rosenberg? Okay. So, he was showing people how we have learned to function on automatic to our detriment and to the detriment of the world around us. So his seminars, EST, Earhart's seminar trainings, were designed to wake people up out of that automatic behavior, to begin to be aware of what they actually were choosing and what they actually believed and what they truly intended in any given moment. And one of the lines that he used was, you will know your intentions by your results. If you have mixed intentions, you will get mixed results. If you have clear intentions, everything flows smoothly to a specific set of results. Very powerful teaching. And it made a huge difference in thousands of people's lives. It was just an amazing thing, and woke up a lot of people out of the cultural trance, the hypnosis, that had them doing the same things over and over again without really thinking them through, and in many cases destroying their relationships and their lives in the process. We will know our intentions by our results. We will know what we have faith in by our circumstances. This is a tough one, because it's really easy to fall into something called blame. If I'm struggling in the moment, did I do this to myself? Is it my fault? That isn't what we're talking about here, okay? I didn't do this to myself. It isn't a conscious intention on my part, but it does show me what I have had faith in up to now. Up to now. The moment I wake up to it, I no longer have the same degree of faith in that idea, that belief, that assumption about who I am and how the world works. And that's what we want to look at in any given moment. If there is an experience, and those of you who've been in my classes have heard this more than once, if it isn't heavenly, there is some idea, belief, or assumption I need to shift. I need to release it and replace it if life isn't heavenly. So when Brooke got up today and talked about there's war outside, is there war in here? She was beginning to say, and I thank you so much, that was a beautiful example. She was saying, what do I really have faith in? Am I willing to give up my belief that there is and must be conflict in me and in my life and in my world? Am I willing? That's a pretty deeply held belief in our culture. It is not held in every human culture, however, so that tells me it isn't real. It is a teaching. It is not found in every human experience. We know of places that have gone hundreds of years without any signs of violence of any kind, because nobody was taught to expect it. And everyone was taught from birth how to resolve any tensions, because the dynamic tension of life is ongoing, but it doesn't have to become conflict. It's a dynamic tension. All right, so I've worked with a number of companies over the years. It's one of the hats I've worn. And one of the things I constantly get to deal with is the finance being counter, the designing engineer, and the enthusiastic salesperson. And they are in a constant dynamic tension. The salesperson wants to go out there and get everyone excited about some new idea, or to say, you got that problem, we'll fix it. And the engineer's going, really? And then the engineer figures out a way to do it. The big counter's going, really? And this is the dynamic tension. It does not have to be conflict, however. And that's the piece that we have been, unfortunately, not taught in growing up. And one of the issues that I have with almost every movie and novel out there is it's based on that assumption. I have a really hard time finding entertainment out in the world because I do not want to be taught or to have reinforced a belief I've been working on to replace that conflict is essential and necessary. It doesn't have to be. The resolving of the dynamic tension, yes, that can be fabulous. And so I'm always looking for things that have that, right? But it doesn't have to have gratuitous sex and violence to be an entertaining piece, right? And that's not to say sex is bad. But I don't have to have it to enjoy the story. And I don't have to have conflict for the crisis and the denouement to happen in the story. Yeah. And in fact, I strongly encourage that we do not. And one of the things that was most wonderful about Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street was they didn't teach that the kids had to go through that. They taught other things. So if there is conflict in my world, there is conflict in my belief system. And I get to let that go. Now, what other things do we say we have faith in? Do we have faith that people are basically good? Well, I don't know. Maybe individually we do, but collectively I have to say it doesn't look like it. So locks on the doors, locks on the cars, padlocks on this, combinations on that. I have reached the point on the internet now where if I haven't opened an app in the last 6 weeks, I get emails from someone telling me, somebody's gone into your app. I'm going, yeah, that was me. You don't have to tell me that, right? And that is now 3 emails a day I'm getting. I do not need this. But the system, the people, have faith in the idea that someone is going to mess with someone else's internet accounts. Now, apparently I do too, because I'm getting these emails. So guess what I get to release and replace? The belief that anyone, anywhere, is going to do anything like that, and that anyone, anywhere is going to be afraid that someone might do something like that, and that anyone, anywhere is going to attempt to get me all concerned about it. Well, that gets me to the media. Do I have faith? Yeah, they're already gone. Do I have faith that the people who go on the air to tell me what's going on in the world are there to inform me? No, not anymore, I don't. There was a time, I have a friend who says, please bring back Walter Cronkite. Walter, where are you when we need you? And even he had to edit, and even he had to shift things to make it a little more entertaining, right? I grew up on Huntley Brinkley. Peter Jennings was purdy, but he didn't give us the same kind of information. Yeah, what happened? We began to shift individually and collectively from having faith in a system that was there to help us be informed citizens to having faith that we were now consumers. Consumers of entertainment, consumers of problems. And that's been our experience as a result of that. So I get to work on that. So the theme for this month, among the Unitarian Universalists that are using Soul Matters, which is a marvelous process, and we're meeting the 4th Tuesday at 5:15 on Zoom to talk about this packet, Renewing Faith. What is our faith? And what are we renewing? Am I renewing my faith in the goodness of humanity? Am I renewing my faith in a universal plan that is unfolding in some wonderful way for the benefit of all? Am I renewing my faith in the possibility that Ruth can be meeting in a perfect environment again? What am I renewing my faith in? It's really important that we look at that. And then there are tools to help us get in touch with, oh, I guess I don't have faith in that. My faith is over here. Do I want to renew that? And we can, having looked at that, begin to realize I can let go of that idea about how the world works. I'm not stuck with that. I can change my mind and my fundamental perceptual framework, the mental framework I'm living from. I can change that. And as we do, it's amazing, because so many things that we were taught to believe about who we are and how the world works are wrong and have caused distress in our bodies, in our lives, in our world. And as we begin to let go of them and begin to live from these others, that distress dissolves, literally dissolves around us. So in that case, I'm no longer renewing the faith that I had. I am now living from a new, deeper, richer, more fulfilling faith. And I invite all of us to do the same. Thank you.
We're going to do the meditation.
Yes. Oh, you're doing music? For meditation? Cool. All right, let's turn down some lights.
For the light be blessed.
realization that our heart meditations and the words of our mouths and our minds are truly blessed. We breathe that into the core of our being, and we rest in that awareness. Simply breathing and knowing that what is true in our hearts is true in our lives. For so it truly is. And so I say, Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. I really needed that talk today. Dynamic tension without conflict. That's a good one for me to remember, perhaps all of you as well. So now we go to our offering time of our service. We share our offering basket with our community partner, Florence Food Share, whose purpose is to provide much-needed sustenance for those who need it. Great volunteers guide their guests through the pantry, and when the time comes, taking freshly grown produce as well. And that's time is soon, I believe. Can't wait for the farmers markets myself. Tuvia, do you have something well, first let me say something else. Our fellowship that has been here in Florence for over 2 decades is entirely self-governed by democratic process. One of the privileges of our free church tradition is to provide financial support to our many ministries from among ourselves, you and me. Tuvia, do you have something to say?
Well, Catherine, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. I think everybody is well aware of that. But if everybody could do just one little good deed, you will elevate yourself and you will make the world a better place. Blessed be.
Second, one more thing to say. Okay. If you're watching this virtually and you'd like to make a contribution or make a payment towards your annual pledge, you can easily send us a check at P.O. Box 2502, Florence, or use our website donate button. I've asked Jean, I'm going to ask Jean, and I'm going to ask Darlene to pass our basket to accept the gifts of our congregation. Here we go. One side is Sayusla, well, one side is supposed to be something else. It's supposed to be food share, but it says Sayusla, Outreach Services. The other is the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship.
So many people in need of care. Now is the time to share. La, 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 la.
enthusiasm. And please repeat after me. Divine love through me.
Divine love through me.
Blesses and multiplies all that I am.
Blesses and multiplies all that I am.
All that I give and all that I receive.
All that I give and all that I receive.
I am prosperous now.
I am prosperous now.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
And we thank you for your spiritual practice of giving and loving. Your contributions in love are received in grateful appreciation. Now I'm going to ask Brooke to extinguish the chalice.
So Jean's hanging on to the basket.
Yes, she is. And I have these final words from Brene Brown. I thought faith would say, I will take away the pain and the discomfort. But what it ended up saying is, I will sit with you in it. Thank you. So as we end our ceremony, we rise together and make a circle around the chairs. Those of you who know it, know it. And we will sing, Let There Be Peace on Earth, and Let It Begin With Me. You know, you can sing or you can remain silent and be grateful, or be cognizant of what people want to hold hands or don't want to hold hands, whatever feels good. And we hope you'll stay to talk with Ruth Miller in the library. She can continue on with her great knowledge. Tuvia?